Chapter 224. Are you guys going to run? The weak Sunni slowly walked over and asked. The two of them shook their heads. Running away now was the same as courting death. If they wanted to die, they could run. Yihua lied on the sofa, and his mood became a bit better. Seems like only by doing this can I make myself slightly happy and not think about those two women. Just as Yihua was preparing to deal with those people, Dong Huangli suddenly opened the door and entered the room, then shouted out sweetly, "Daddy." Yihua opened his eyes and revealed out a light smile. "Ollie, what happened?" Dong Huangli could be seen running to Yihua's side, then grabbed onto Yihua's hand that was controlling Xianyuan's sword with both of her hands. Dong Huangli began shaking Xianyuan's sword violently, then said coquettishly, "Daddy, play with Ollie." Yihua's index finger shook violently along with Dong Huangli's shaking. "Ollie, Daddy is working." "Boo-hoo Papa, Ollie misses you." Dong Huangli could be seen increasing the strength of Yihua's hands, and the arc of Yihua's swaying became bigger and bigger, and the speed of Yihua's swaying also became faster and faster. Right now, the Xianyuan sword was like a drunkard, flying around in the air, making people feel numb. "Run!" Song Huang shouted out anxiously. Everyone began to run in all directions, but the range of the Xianyuan sword's swing was getting wider and wider, and its speed was getting faster and faster. Many people were inexplicably cut in half at the waist while running, or their heads were separated from their bodies. Everyone could see that the Xianyuan sword seemed to be out of control, so they ran even more desperately. The scene suddenly turned into purgatory, and blood flew everywhere. On the other hand, Tang Wushuang, who was lying on the ground, managed to avoid this calamity. On the other hand, Sun Fang's group of three were luckier. They quickly fled to the north. "Daddy Ali will bring you to eat chicken, okay? Ali will let you show off your might in front of Aunt Qing, and perhaps Aunt Qing will forgive you." While acting coquettishly, Dong Huangli shook Yihua's arm. "I wonder how many people died when you shook them like that." "Okay, Ollie will wait for Papa first. Papa will be here soon." "Let's pinky swear then." Dong Huangli stretched out her pinky. Of course, Yihua would satisfy his daughter's various requests. After his daughter left, Yihua looked towards the scene, and his expression immediately sunk. The Xianyuan sword, which was flying around randomly, also stopped moving. They actually ran away. Yihua let out a breath. "After thinking for a bit, accompanying my daughter is more important." With a flick of his index finger, Xianyuan's sword directly stabbed towards the side of Xiao Yi. Ling Tian looked at this scene dumbfoundedly and said to the unconscious Xiao Yi, "And you said you weren't acting cool. I've never seen someone so good at pretending. Hurry up and get up. They've already left. Even if you act cool, no one will applaud you." Ling Tian shouted out helplessly. Looking at the Xianyuan sword in front of him, Ling Tian did not dare to take it. He was afraid that the situation from before would happen again. For example, Tang Wushuang, who was lying on the ground. Just a moment ago, the Xianyuan sword had accidentally stabbed into his crotch. However, right now, Tang Wushuang's crotch was completely blood red, and his stomach was the same as well. Not long after, Xiao Yi woke up. "Big brother Xiao, you're finally awake." Ling Tian exclaimed as he supported Xiao Yi. "What's wrong?" Xiao Yi asked blankly. Ling Tian rolled his eyes. "Brother Xiao, I know you're humble, but if you continue to be so humble, you won't have any friends." Xiao Yi was confused and expressed that he really didn't know. She helped Xiao Yi to stand up. "Brother Xiao, what should we do with that Tang Wushuang?" Ling Tian looked towards Tang Wushuang, who was on the verge of death, and asked. Xiao Yi took a look, then said gravely, "Whether he lives or dies will depend on his own luck. I, Xiao Yi, don't owe him anymore." Ling Tian nodded his head, then brought Xiao Yi along and wanted to go back. After the two left, a man appeared. With his brows wrinkled, he looked at his phone. F***ck, he's gone again. I'm going to cut off one of his legs when I go back. This man was precisely Gue Qingren, Tang Wushuang's master. Looking at his disciple's miserable state, Gue Qingren shook his head. This disciple is truly making me lose face. Master, save me. Tang Wushuang stretched out his bloody hand. Gue Qingren said coldly, don't touch me, I look very dirty. Master. Tang Wushuang shouted out weakly. Gue Qingren was helpless. With a wave of his hand, the two disappeared from the scene. The entire world returned back to normal, and the black clouds in the sky gradually dispersed as well. Only the bloodstains on the ground could prove that a battle had happened here. Yi Hua, who was in the bedroom, thought for a while, then decided to contact Wei Chang. I can't let them off so easily. Your Honor. Are you feeling better now? Wei Chang appeared in the bedroom and asked respectfully. Yi Hua let out a sigh. I was interrupted by Ali. Your Honor definitely didn't do it on purpose. I naturally know that, which is why I called you over. Go and deal with those people from just now. Yi Hua said faintly. Wei Chang remained silent for a moment, then said, Your Honor, subordinate has something that I don't know if I should say or not. Speak. This time, the North and the South had an agreement beforehand. If the three people from the South died in the North, I think it would be even better. Yi Hua was startled. I didn't expect that Wei Chang would have such a realization. Wei Chang, your recent performance is very good. If you have any requests, you can let me know. Yi Hua was very happy. It is a good thing for subordinates to have brains, especially Wei Chang. From not having a brain to having a brain, the change is really big. Wei Chang didn't dare to be greedy and said hurriedly, although Your Honor didn't say it out, in actuality, you were trying to test subordinates' adaptability. Fortunately, subordinate answered correctly. Yi Hua was startled, and his expression was a bit flabbergasted. Soon after, Yi Hua revealed out a smile, to be able to see through my true intentions. Wei Chang, you are truly becoming more and more creative. Subordinate doesn't dare to, it is all because of Your Honor's guidance. In actuality, subordinate doesn't have any requests, I just hope that Your Honor can give subordinate a raise in salary. After all, I have a girlfriend now, and my expenses are somewhat unable to keep up. Wei Chang indeed didn't have any money right now. Sometimes, he would even use Xiao Tang's money to refuel the Porsche. Yi Hua nodded his head. This is all a small matter, I will double your salary. Thank you, Your Honor. Wei Chang hurriedly kowtowed and thanked Yi Hua. Oh right, who do you intend to call to deal with those three people? Yi Hua asked curiously. Green and Red Brothers, they need combat experience right now, I will use them for Green and Red Brothers to train. Yi Hua said faintly, that's fine too, in the future, give them more missions to increase their combat experience, and with that, they will be able to protect Ollie in the future. Yes. You can leave now. After Wei Chang left, Yi Hua rubbed onto his hair and muttered to himself, when did this Wei Chang become so smart? I, the Supreme Overlord, am not used to it. However, in the end, it was still a good thing. Yi Hua arrived at Qing Yutong's room and saw that his daughter and Yi Zizi were currently playing games, and Qing Yutong was nowhere to be seen. Daddy, Ollie has already started fighting by herself, you can go back to sleep. Dong Huangli was very serious when fighting against Yi Zizi, because she was fighting against Yi Zizi. Big cousin, big sister Qing went to your office. She was called over by big sister-in-law. Yi Zizi added. Yi Hua's eyes shone. I hope that Qing Yutong's guidance will be useful. Let's go and listen to what they are talking about first. Forget it. Am I the kind of person who eavesdrops on others? If word of this got out, wouldn't people laugh their heads off? Chapter 225. In the office. Chinya's surroundings were filled with crumpled napkins. Chinya was currently wiping away her tears, looking very pitiful. Qin Yutong sat in front of her big sister and sized her up attentively. It is good that big sister is able to cry and get angry, at least it proves that big sister still cares about you. If he really didn't care, then he would be in an ordinary state. This scoundrel, I am going to freeze his card. Finished speaking, Chinya took out her phone and called the bank, freezing Yihua's card. Yihua, who was outside the door, almost rushed in. Just a moment ago, I had just agreed to give Wei Chang a raise, and in the blink of an eye, you froze my card. How am I going to be the boss? Chinya choked with sobs and said, Woo, I want to see how he is going to eat crayfish. Yutong, your brother-in-law is too much of a bully. Big sister, this is already very good. Qin Yutong consoled, then took out a tissue and passed it to her big sister. While sobbing, Chinya asked, This is still all right? Of course. Brother-in-law wanted to take me into his harem. Didn't you come to give me condoms? Qin Yutong. I didn't call you over to talk nonsense, I called you over to think of a solution. Chinya shouted angrily and shyly. Even at this time, you are still making this kind of joke. Yihua, who was outside the door, really wanted to smack his butt. Your big sister is already angry to that extent, and you are still adding fuel to the fire. Qin Yutong could be heard saying attentively, Big sister, let's take a step back and think about it. This is brother-in-law's past romance, and there is also Ollie. I'm afraid that brother-in-law doesn't know about these matters. If brother-in-law knew, he would have brought Ollie back long ago. These few days, you have also seen brother-in-law's attitude towards Ollie. This means that brother-in-law indeed doesn't know about it. Qin Yutong was also judging the matter as it was, and was impartial. Yihua, who was standing at the doorway, silently nodded his head. There is no problem with Yutong's explanation. But that woman is really beautiful. Brother-in-law is tempted. Qin Yutong's following words caused Yihua's expression to darken. What do you mean by not being moved? She is already my woman, is there still a need for me to be moved? All he had to do was take action. Hearing that, Chinya's tears became bigger. Your brother-in-law is a playboy. I didn't know it before, but now I see through him. Sis, which man isn't fickle? Those who aren't fickle are all gay. Qin Yutong. Your sister, have been cheated, and you're still smiling. Qin Yutong laughed bitterly. Big sister, you said that brother-in-law lied to you, but just what did he lie to you about? In any case, he is lying. If not for the fact that Chinya was pregnant, Yihua would have really wanted to smack her butt and forcefully accuse her of something. Did brother-in-law lie to you to go to bed with him, or did he lie to you to do that? Qin Yutong's eyebrows twitched, and said, You know what I mean. Qin Yutong, get out. Big sister, think back to those days when you two were on your honeymoon, that scene of you two kissing passionately in front of me and Yizizi, and that fragrant tongue of yours had even reached into brother-in-law's mouth. TSK. Just looking at it made my entire body go numb. Scram. Chinya's face flushed red, then picked up the pillow and threw it towards Qin Yutong. Qin Yutong let out a breath, then persuaded, Actually, I feel that brother-in-law is really very good, and he is also very attentive towards big sister. Other than him liking to act cool, drinking and smoking, he doesn't seem to have any bad habits. Isn't that a bad habit? All that's left is the yellow gambling. Brother-in-law doesn't like that kind of thing, he likes big sister's kind of thing. Qin Yutong teased. Get out, I don't want to listen to your crooked reasoning, your brother-in-law definitely gave you benefits. Qin Yutong placed both of her hands on her waist. Big sister, you can insult my person, but you can't insult my character. I, Qin Yutong, in any case, was born as a young pioneer, I will reject all bribes. Last night, I even spat at brother-in-law and asked him to divorce you. Ah! Chinya could be heard crying out in surprise, then immediately felt that her reaction was too big, so she immediately turned her face away. Qin Yutong had a look of disdain on her face. Even someone like you can still get angry, just talking about divorce, you are already so nervous. Didn't you see brother-in-law's expression at that time? It was as if his wife had died. Qin Yutong, who are you cursing to die? Big sister, I am just making an analogy, I might as well act it out for you. Qin Yutong coughed lightly and put on Yihua's expression. Suddenly, Qin Yutong's expression collapsed, then said pleadingly, Yutong, quickly go and beg your big sister for me, I can't live without her. If your big sister were to leave, don't even think about living anymore. Yihua took a deep breath. If I mess up with Qin Yutong, then I will really teach you a lesson. Furthermore, would I, the Supreme Overlord, go and beg a woman like this? What a joke. Yutong, your acting is a bit exaggerated, Yihua wouldn't say something like this at all. Qinya could be said to understand Yihua, he is a person who cares about his face no matter what. Don't mind those details, brother-in-law talked with me for an hour last night, don't even mention how miserable he was. Thinking back to last night, brother-in-law even killed a few people, and in the end, under Yi Zizi's lead, brother-in-law won the chicken dinner. Alright, I don't want to listen anymore, you can go out. Qinya felt that she couldn't continue listening, the more she listened, the softer her heart became. I have to be a bit firmer. Right. I have to be firm in my conviction. Qin Yutong felt that it was about time. Looking at big sister, she doesn't seem to be the kind that wants to die, she is just jealous, that's all. Yihua immediately spread out and pretended to go upstairs. After closing the door, Qin Yutong laughed tenderly, brother-in-law, stop pretending, you heard everything, right? This sister-in-law sure doesn't give me any face. What's the situation with your big sister? Yihua asked gravely. Qin Yutong's eyebrows twitched, and she had a look that said, you understand, on her face. We are going to eat meat tonight, I won't leave you out. Yihua said petulantly. He thank you, brother-in-law, in actuality, my big sister is just jealous, there isn't any big problem. Brother-in-law, if you leave her out for half a month, I guarantee that big sister will run over to reconcile with you. Qin Yutong said very casually, having a look as if she had been through this before. Yihua felt that this won't do, Qinya is serious this time. Qinya could be heard adding a sentence, brother-in-law, sometimes, when it's time to be hard, you should be hard. What do you mean? My big sister is just an ordinary person, you tell me how I should be hard. Qin Yutong rolled her eyes at Yihua. You don't even understand this. Yihua immediately understood what Qin Yutong meant and said gravely, get hard. Brother-in-law, do your best, get hard a few more times, big sister will naturally be convinced. Yutong, after this crisis is over, tell brother-in-law what you want. Yihua was very generous, as long as I am able to make Qinya change her mind, I am willing to give you Thanos. Qin Yutong pouted her mouth, brother-in-law, you are penniless right now, you better take care of yourself first, I don't have any money. After finished speaking, Qin Yutong slipped away. Yihua let out a light breath. After coaxing Qinya, I will naturally have money. How can I let this little rich woman slip away so easily? Now is the time for me to be hard. Yihua pushed open the office door. Yutong, I don't want to talk to you right now. Qinya said. It's me. Qinya could be seen taking a look at Yihua, then immediately lied down and turned her back towards Yihua. What are you doing here? Get out. Qinya shouted coldly. Yihua walked to the front of the sofa and said faintly, Qinya, I will give you 1 second to change your mind, if not, don't blame me for using hard methods. Yihua. Don't think that I, Qinya, am afraid of you. Are you getting up or not? Go and die. Chapter 226. Yihua could be seen hugging onto Qinya, and Qinya cried out in surprise, "Yihua! What are you doing? We are quarreling, you can't do this to me." "So what? I will do whatever I want to do," Yihua shouted out gravely, while Qinya was punching and kicking Yihua. "Don't move. Be careful of the child," Yihua shouted out coldly. In actuality, even if Qinya were to kill Yihua, nothing would happen to the child. The power of bloodline was not something that could be aborted so easily. Qinya's face was as cold as ice as she said coldly, "Yihua, please respect me." "Then have you ever respected me? Don't tell me that I don't treat you well," Yihua questioned. "This woman is just an unreasonable woman, how big of a deal is this? I, the Supreme Overlord, already have so many wives, and if I, the Supreme Overlord, have one more wife, I will die." Qinya seemed to be unable to refute this question and said, "In any case, you are a swindler, deceiving my feelings. I don't want you to hug me, put me down. Come down. That's impossible. Don't you realize that you're stinking? I haven't showered for almost a day." Qinya wrinkled her eyebrows. "It seems that I haven't taken a bath for almost a day." In actuality, Qinya's body was still very fragrant, and Yihua said that intentionally. Carrying Qinya to the bedroom, he threw her into the bathroom and said, "Wash it properly, it's so smelly." After saying that, he closed the door, and the sound of smashing could be heard from inside. "If it's broken, call someone to fix it yourself," Yihua shouted out, then laid on the bed and waited. "It has been almost a day since I hugged this woman, and I miss her a lot." As soon as he said this, the smashing inside became even fiercer. A trace of a smile appeared on the corner of Yihua's mouth. "I, the Supreme Overlord, like this kind of woman. Hugging a woman like this is much more comfortable." Half an hour later, Qinya walked out of the room, took a look at Yihua, then prepared to directly run out of the room. Yihua laughed. "Qinya, you are still too childish. Don't you understand what I am thinking?" Qinya naturally understood. Isn't she preparing to run away now? Just that, before she could even reach the door, her body floated up and floated towards Yihua's embrace. "Yihua! You can't be this shameless!" Qinya, who was floating in the sky, shouted out. "I am a cultivator, what can you do to me?" Qinya almost exploded from anger as she said indignantly, "If you dare to touch me, I will." "I will." Yihua caught onto Qinya and hugged her tightly into his embrace, then asked curiously, "What are you planning to do?" "I'll bite you to death." After finished speaking, it really bit towards Yihua's arm. Yihua laughed bitterly. Last time, he was threatened by Qin Yutong and had his skin cut open by a knife, and now, he was bitten by Qinya. The pain that I am feeling right now is all caused by these two women. This is truly depressing. Qinya bit down very fiercely, and when the taste of blood came out from her mouth, she woke up. When she opened her mouth to take a look, a row of teeth marks could be seen, and the skin was bitten through. "Are you happy now?" Taking this rare opportunity, Yihua questioned coldly. Qinya didn't dare to look straight at him and said indignantly, "Let go of me. Otherwise, I'll bite again." "Then bite it. It's best if you can break it." "You! How did you become a scoundrel?" Qinya tried to struggle free from Yihua's embrace, but unfortunately, she did not have enough strength. Yihua didn't say anything and hugged Donghuang Baizhi tightly. "This is so comfortable. I wonder how Donghuang Baizhi will feel when hugging me. It's a pity that if she wants to get on my bed, she still needs to practice a lot more." After a long while, Qinya asked coldly, "Aren't you a cultivator? You can't even heal this little bit of injury." Yihua replied faintly, "Why would I need to heal it? I'm just waiting for the wound to get infected, then I'll amputate it. When the child grows up and asks me, I'll tell him that it was your mother who broke it. Qingye looked at Yihua in disbelief. Shameless. After another 10 minutes passed, Qingye saw that the wound was still bleeding, and she was very worried. What if the wound really gets infected and I have to amputate it? This is a scoundrel, to use self-torture to threaten me. Let go of me. Qingye shouted out coldly. Not letting go. I'll go get the medicine box and help you bandage your wound, lest you become a one-armed hero. Qingye said angrily. You have a woman and a child outside, and you still want me to comfort you. Yihua was delighted. Seems like what I said on the internet is somewhat effective. Yihua let go of Qingye. Qingye took out the medicine box, then placed it on the bed, then carefully disinfected and bandaged the wound. Looking at Qingye's serious look, Yihua said lightly, not angry anymore. Do you think that's possible? Qingye said coldly. Yihua retracted his hand, then don't bandage my wound anymore, let me become a one-armed hero. When the child is born, I'll tell him about it. You! Why are you acting like a child? Qingye said angrily. You even want to snitch on a child, have you never seen it before? None of your business. Yihua snorted coldly. Give me your hand. Yihua said, not taking it. Are you taking it or not? Qingye, we are quarreling right now, stand properly at your position. Yihua said faintly. His current appearance was really asking for a beating. Meanwhile, Qingye was indeed quite angered. I helped you out of goodwill, and yet you still say such words, you are bullying me too much. Go and die then. Qingye snorted, then turned her face away and ignored Yihua, but she didn't get off the bed. After a long while, Yihua took a glance at Qingye and said faintly, Qingye, let's reconcile, stop quarreling. We are quarreling. Please stand properly at your position. All right, the Supreme Overlord was counterattacked by his wife again. Yihua's head is really aching. I might as well just beat her up and let her know how powerful I am, but I am reluctant to. I am so conflicted. It's swollen. Yihua could be heard crying out in surprise. Qingye immediately turned her head around and looked at the wound, and it was indeed swollen. Why are you so troublesome? Qingye said angrily as she took out the medicine to disinfect the wound. A trace of a sneaky smile appeared on the corner of Yihua's mouth. Making the skin swell is just a small matter, I am still able to control it. And you still dare to say that you don't care about me, why are you so nervous? This woman is just saying one thing but thinking the other. What Yutong said is completely correct. Tonight, I will be able to hug her to sleep again, comfortable now, little Ollie is also going to be with me. Life is actually so perfect, I am going to extend my vacation this time. Eat some anti-inflammatory medicine. Qingye took out 2 amoxicillin. Water. You really are a big uncle. Although Qingye said that, she still went to pour water for Yihua. Looking at Qingye's back view, Yihua mumbled, Qingye, I really don't know what my life would be like without you. Qingye, who was pouring water for Yihua, paused for a moment, then said faintly, without me, you would still be able to live your life as usual, and there would still be Donghuang Baiji to take care of you. But I just like you. Yihua. Let me tell you, it is already too late for you to say words of love to me now. I will not listen to you. Yihua placed the cup on the bedside table heavily, and the water splashed out. The internet is all lies, I don't believe it anymore. Yihua has a temper, I have never lowered myself before. Just now, I already said so much, yet you still don't want to give me face. Qingye. Let me tell you, you are going to fall into my hands for the rest of your life. Even if I have to tie you up, I will still tie you up with me. Yihua. You bastard. Chapter 227. Qinya immediately jumped onto the bed and sat on Yihua's body, then picked up a pillow and started smashing it. Meanwhile, Yihua turned over and pressed Qinya down, then shouted out coldly, "You dare to hit me? So what if I hit you?" Right at this moment, the door was pushed open, and when Dong Huangli saw the scene inside, she cried out in surprise, "Daddy, you have reconciled with Aunt Qing, this is great." Qinya used all her strength to push Yihua away. Yihua didn't want to hurt Qinya, so he didn't use any strength. He got up and carried his daughter. "Ali, your Aunt Qing came over to admit her mistake." Qinya was very angry, but she didn't say anything. After all, it wasn't good to do so in front of a child. "Daddy is so handsome." Dong Huangli gave a thumbs up. Nothing is better than being able to correct one's mistakes. Do you remember that, Ali? Dong Huangli nodded her head, then said, "Daddy, Ali is tired from playing, I want to sleep now. Can you let Aunt Qing accompany Ali to sleep?" Aunt Qing didn't sleep well last night either. Yihua knew that Qinya wouldn't reject Ali. After all, now that the two of them were familiar with each other, he would be able to relax a bit. Dong Huangli blinked her big eyes, and "Qinya, take good care of Ali." After placing his daughter on the bed, Yihua said faintly. Qinya's emotions were actually very complicated. Firstly, she liked how obedient and sensible Ali was, and secondly, Ali was Yihua's child with another woman. It would be a lie to say that Yihua didn't have any enmity towards that woman. However, after hearing what that woman said, she was actually quite pitiful. She came to find Yihua while pregnant, but Yihua ignored her, and she even gave birth to the child and raised the child by himself. If it wasn't for Ali running away from home this time and coming here because of the game, Yihua probably wouldn't even know that he had a child outside. Both of them were pitiful women. However, Ali was angered by Yihua's lies and that arrogant look on his face. He clearly did something wrong, yet he didn't repent at all, and even said that it was someone else's fault. Even if you are a cultivator, you can't be so rude and unreasonable. I am your wife, not your mistress. Yihua closed the door and told them to get along with each other, while he went downstairs to teach Dong Huangbaiji a lesson. I have to teach these women a lesson and let them know how to be a qualified wife. Especially this Dong Huangbaiji. To be precise, this is the second time I've met her, and my daughter is already almost 3 years old. I really didn't expect this. Coming downstairs, Yihua saw that Dong Huangbaiji was currently sitting on the broken bar counter and drinking wine. Dong Huangbaiji's gaze was currently blurred. Without the support of spiritual energy, Dong Huangbaiji was just like an ordinary person. Thus, it was only natural that she would get drunk very quickly. Looking at Dong Huangbaiji's current state, Yihua let out a sigh. If I had come down back then, I reckon that Qinya wouldn't have gotten involved in this. It's fortunate that I didn't come down, if not, I wouldn't have been able to come across Qinya. It was just that he owed her. Yihua walked over and sat beside Dong Huangbaiji, then poured himself a cup of wine. Just like that, the two of them drank one cup after another without saying a word. Does your butt still hurt? In the end, Yihua couldn't help but ask. Dong Huangbaiji had won this battle of silence. When had Dong Huangbaiji ever been spanked before? Dong Huangbaiji sneered, "Didn't you have a good time spanking me? If you didn't make me angry, why would I hit you?" Yihua said calmly. If it was another man, he would definitely beg and apologize to Dong Huangbaiji. This way, Dong Huangbaiji's heart would soften, and perhaps, Dong Huangbaiji might even reconcile with Dong Huangbaiji. After all, when Dong Huangbaiji came to Voidless Realm, she had already thought about it. If Yihua apologized sincerely, for the sake of her daughter's future, Dong Huangbaiji planned to bring Yihua to Voidless Realm. In the end, I didn't expect that Yihua wasn't an ordinary person and was even more formidable than me. From what Dong Huangbaiji had said, it could be seen that Dong Huang Baiji was still willing to bear some of the rumors and slanders. As an empress, marrying an ordinary man was a joke in and of itself. However, for the sake of her daughter, Dong Huang Baiji was still firm in her decision. Of course, this was what he thought before he came. From this, it could be seen just how important Dong Huangli was in Dong Huang Baiji's heart. Dong Huangli's feelings towards Yihua were very vague. Dong Huangli bore grudges against Dong Huang Baiji for 3 years, worried about Dong Huangli for 3 years, and thought about Dong Huangli for 3 years. Every time she saw her daughter, she would think of Yihua. Yihua's figure had long since taken root in Dong Huang Baiji's heart. When Dong Huang Baiji heard that Yihua had gotten married, Dong Huang Baiji became angry and decided to make Yihua a cuckold to take revenge on him. Unfortunately, he was caught before he could take his revenge. "Why didn't you come down during those few days?" Dong Huang Baiji held onto her chin and asked. Why is this woman always tangling with this question? Is there any meaning to it? It has already been so long. Perhaps, to Yihua, this question might not be important. However, to Dong Huang Baiji, this was a question that she had to decide whether to forgive or not. Yihua became silent. What should I say? I was in a bad mood during those few days because Lai Gu bit off the internet cable while dreaming, causing me to not be able to watch Calabash Brothers. This is all Lai Gu's fault. If Lai Gu wasn't dreaming, he wouldn't have bitten off the internet cable. If Lai Gu didn't bite off the internet cable, my mood might have been pretty good. Perhaps I would have come down and lived with Qingye. Thinking about it, Lai Gu's bite on the internet cable was pretty good. After pondering for a while, Yihua said faintly, "It wasn't convenient for me during those few days." Hearing Yihua's explanation, Dong Huang Baiji laughed at herself. "It wasn't convenient for you. Did your aunt come?" "Aunt? I don't have any relatives." Yihua still didn't understand the meaning of aunt, and he was still thinking about the relationship between being inconvenient and aunt. Dong Huang Baiji laughed. "If you don't even understand this, how can you be a man? What is she talking about? This woman can't be drunk, right? If you still insist on what happened 3 years ago, I will slowly make it up to you in the future. As a man, I still have to put an end to the things that happened 3 years ago and do what I have to do. After all, only when my family is in harmony will I be able to show off my abilities in the outside world. Otherwise, I wouldn't have the mood to bother about those trivial things anymore. Make it up to me. How do you want to make it up to me? Do you want to piece my shattered heart back together?" Dong Huang Baiji lied on the bar counter and laughed while resting her head on her arms, looking like she was very drunk. Letting out a breath, Yihua took a sip of wine and said faintly, "You can make it up to me however you want." Hee, I don't need it, I only want Ollie. We are living very well, there is no need for you to come in. Bang! The wine glass in Yihua's hand was crushed into pieces. This woman sure is thick-headed. What? You want to hit me again? Go ahead and hit me, it would be best if you hit me to death. This way, no one will disturb you anymore. Hearing what Qingye said, Yihua immediately became angry. Back then, even Qingye didn't do this to me. At most, she would only threaten me and say things like perishing together with me. Why do these women always like to use death to threaten me? If you aren't my woman, I wouldn't care whether you live or die. Yihua stood up and said coldly, "Don't worry, I won't hit you. But, you can forget about leaving this bar in your entire life." After finished speaking, Yihua turned around and went upstairs. Chapter 228. The wine bottle smashed onto the air wall and fell onto the ground. Dong Huang Baiji lied on the bar counter and cried bitterly, just like a child. Even 3 years ago, Dong Huang Baiji had never cried like this before. Hearing the crying sound that was coming from downstairs, Yihua let out a heavy sigh. "I really don't know what I should do. Please help me, I, the Supreme Overlord, am waiting for you. It's very urgent. Inside Wei Chang's rented room, currently, he was drinking the wolfberry ginseng tea that Tang Wei brewed. He felt that his entire body had been warm for the past few days, as if he was going to explode. Moreover, the more he put in the wolfberries, the more he had to drink. He had to drink several cups a day. In Tang Wei's words, this tea was good for the body and could even cure illnesses. Wei Chang was puzzled. He wasn't sick, so why did he need to be treated? But looking at Tang Wei's concerned expression, it seemed as if he had contracted an incurable disease. You too, come over here. I have a mission for you. Wei Chang shouted at the Green and Red brothers. At this time, the Green and Red brothers were also drinking wolfberry tea. This was because all the boiled water in this house had wolfberry in it. They really didn't understand why those old uncles in the village drank it like this. Looking at Wei Chang's age, and then thinking about Tang Wei's age, Wei Chang immediately understood, when one reached middle age, they had no choice. All men understood. The two of them walked over with a smile on their faces. Uncle Wei said that there was a mission. Could it be that the boss was chased out of the house? Or was he going to do some cleaning? Or should he go downstairs to buy groceries? Currently, the Green and Red brothers had already changed their hairstyles. Their hairstyles were 50-50, and they were parted in the middle. It seemed like he had recognized someone as his boss. It had to be said that the Green and Red brothers had become a lot more refreshing after changing to the 50-50 development style. However, their hair was still relatively long. It had already reached their chins. Not to mention that it looked a little artistic. Of course, the color was still the same. He was also wearing a trench coat, which matched with his hair color. He was simply awesome. Wherever he went, he was a beautiful scenery. He could even be a traffic light. Uncle Wei, are we going to buy groceries? I think we should buy some vegetables. Big Brother Green was also a bit irritable. Uncle Wei, I don't have a girlfriend, unlike you, Uncle Wei. Little Brother Red nodded his head earnestly. Uncle Wei, eating these vegetables is really good, it can help to lower one's body temperature. Wei Chang felt that what the two said made sense. That's true. Let's buy some vegetables tonight. Alright, we will definitely complete the mission. The Green and Red brothers stood up and stretched out their hands. I want money. Cough. The mission I'm talking about isn't asking you to go buy vegetables, but to go buy vegetables after you finish the mission. Wei Chang added. He was almost misled by them. Big Brother Green instantly clapped his hands. I knew that Uncle Wei wouldn't give us this kind of mission. No matter what, we're already people in the same circle. We're definitely going to punish evil and promote good. Big Bro, I think we're going to be famous. Look at our outfits. When the reporters come to interview us, we should look presentable. Little brother, don't worry. Our traffic light combination will definitely explode in popularity. Cheers. Cheers. Wei Chang said indifferently, go kill 3 people. Puff. Puff. The Green and Red brothers spat at each other, then they slowly turned their heads around and asked curiously, Uncle Wei, are you sure you're not going to save 3 people? You guys need to practice your killing skills more. It just so happens that 3 people offended the boss today. Go and deal with them. When the time comes, put the corpses in a conspicuous place. The Green and Red brothers swallowed their saliva forcefully. Why did they suddenly jump from buying groceries to killing someone? They really couldn't get used to it. There had to be a transition period, right? Like beating someone up first. Then, he was beaten to a cripple. Then his arms and legs were dislocated. There was no such process at all. You guys aren't afraid, right? Didn't you guys say that you guys have quite a few lives in your hands last night in the village? You guys didn't even blink when you guys attacked viciously. Wei Chang asked curiously. What the heck, which man doesn't brag? Furthermore, when I killed the chicken, I indeed attacked viciously. I already have over 100 lives in my hands. Big Brother Green tightly wrinkled his brows and said hesitantly, Uncle Wei, you can be at ease, offending the boss means offending little Ollie, that means offending us brothers. I guarantee that we will complete the mission. Not bad, the boss will definitely appreciate your thoughts. I will give you guys 5 minutes to prepare, we will set off after 5 minutes. The Green and Red brothers turned around, and their expressions immediately collapsed. Walking to the side, they whispered to each other. Big bro, what should we do? What else can we do? Take out our weapons and fight. But I'm afraid. What are you afraid of? We are originally wanted criminals. Later on, it will be perfectly justifiable for us to be wanted criminals. Little Brother Red covered onto his face. Why do I feel that life is becoming more and more exciting? If we follow the boss, we will definitely become famous in the future. That's right. Not only will we become famous, we will also set things on fire. 5 minutes later, the two finished preparing and stood neatly in front of Wei Chang, waiting for further instructions from Wei Chang. Wei Chang picked up the thermos, then waved his hand, and a black whirlpool appeared in the living room. You guys, follow me. The Green and Red brothers took a deep breath, then followed Wei Chang and stepped into the black whirlpool. Big bro, we aren't going to fight across planets, right? I'm not afraid of fighting across planets, but I'm afraid of fighting across galaxies. Walking into the whirlpool, taking a look at the blue sky and white clouds, Little Brother Red pointed at an eagle and shouted, Big bro, quickly look, even the eagle is flying so low. Feeling that something was wrong, Big Brother Green slowly lowered his head, and cold sweat was already dripping out of his body. Little Brother Red followed his big bro's gaze and looked over. The two froze, they were actually standing at a height of a few thousand meters. Wei Chang looked towards the north and said casually, You guys wait here. Uncle Wei, what about our target? The Green and Red brothers held onto each other's hands and asked. The 3 people that are coming over later will be our target. After finished speaking, Uncle Wei opened the thermos and drank a mouthful of wolfberry tea, then walked into the black whirlpool and disappeared. The Green and Red brothers remained silent for a moment, and their nervous expression gradually became excited. Big bro. We can fly now. That's right, we have become birds. Big Brother Green let out a sigh. A few days ago, I was still starving on the road, and today, I became a Superman, the kind of Superman that kills people. Indeed, looking from the ground, there was a green and a red big bird in the sky. Just as the two brothers were getting excited, 3 black dots flew towards them at high speed. They were precisely Sun Yi and the others who were running for their lives. Big bro. They are here. Little Brother Red suddenly became nervous. I saw them, I am not blind. Big Brother Green was very nervous too. It is fine for me to go and scare people, but to kill people. I am not mentally prepared at all. Looking at the figures getting closer and closer, Little Brother Red suddenly asked, Big bro, in the wuxia movies, everyone has to hold on to their own name, how are we going to report to them? Watch me later. Big Brother Green had already thought of what to do. Little Brother Red became relieved. Big bro is indeed smart and quick-witted. When Sun Yi and the others saw the Green and Red brothers that were not far away from them, they were very puzzled. Alliance Master Hai, are they your people? Guang Tianlu asked. After all, the way those two dressed up was very strange, and they seemed to be people from the Esper world. Hai Dicey shook his head. Although we, the people from the Esper world, are all hidden within the cities, we still have our own identities. Why would we dress up like that? Chapter 229. Guang Tianlu said gravely, We have yet to leave the northern region, Could it be that we are here? The three's expression became grave. Seems like we are in danger, adding on the fact that we are injured, the situation has become even worse. In the blink of an eye, the three arrived in front of the Green and Red brothers. Looking at Sun Yi, the Green and Red brothers swallowed their saliva. Why is there a woman here? This woman is so beautiful, wouldn't it be a pity to kill her? Who are you guys? Sun Yi shouted out. Although I am injured, I can't reveal my injuries right now, I have to pretend. Big Brother Green snorted, since you are asking me sincerely, I shall be merciful and tell you. I am Buried Love Family's Green Protector. After finished speaking, he made a very cool pose. Very quickly, Little Brother Red understood and made a pose first, then shouted out, I am Buried Love Family's Red Protector. The three were very puzzled. When did the Buried Love family appear in the south? Why is the name so strange? Furthermore, these two people look very silly. Why are you guys blocking our way? Hi Dicey asked. Just as Big Brother Green was about to speak, a wrench fell out from his windbreaker, and Little Brother Red grabbed onto it reflexively. An awkward atmosphere pervaded the air. The Green and Red brothers were communicating with each other with their eyes. Big Brother, we are assassins, we cannot expose ourselves. I know, but the wrench fell out. Big Brother, just speak some nonsense. We can only do this. Big Brother Green took over the wrench and said with a smile, as a mechanic, it should be normal for me to bring along a wrench, right? Right after he finished speaking, a plastic water pipe fell out from Little Brother Red's windbreaker. Little Brother Red hurriedly caught onto it, and with an unnatural expression, he scratched onto his red hair, as a water and electricity installer, it should be fine for me to bring along a plastic water pipe, right? Sun Yi and the other two's expressions were very strange, they were completely stupefied by the two people in front of them. A wrench and a plastic water pipe, they are probably preparing for a street fight. Suddenly, a kitchen knife fell out from Big Brother Green's windbreaker, and Big Brother Green immediately grabbed onto the kitchen knife. Damn, Big Brother, you even took out a kitchen knife. Big Brother Green glared at his little brother, then explained to the three people, actually, I'm not only a repairman, but also a sharpener. In order to prove his occupation, Big Brother Green coughed lightly, then shouted out. Sharpen scissors, sharpen kitchen knife, especially when he dragged out the last syllable, it made people believe him without a doubt. Big Brother, you're awesome. Everyone at the entrance of the village always calls you that. I didn't expect you to learn it so well. Sun Yi and the other two were greatly shocked, but they were also very angry. They were actually played by these two people. I am the sect leader of Cloud's sect. If you know what's good for you, hurry up and scram. Sun Yi shouted. After hearing the other party's name, the Green and Red brothers were a little stunned. Big Brother, Cloud's sect. In the novels, they are all very awesome existences. Big Brother Green rubbed his chin. I heard that many of the protagonists started their counterattacks in the Cloud sect. That's right. What trash, broken engagement, and all sorts of golden fingers. I reckon that this sect master is about to be defeated by the main character. Perhaps the protagonist is currently playing with fire sticks in the woodshed of the Yun sect. Maybe he was slandered by eldest senior brother and is now slapping himself in the face. Maybe he's in junior sister's room, the two of them laughed at each other. Hearing these two people insulting Cloud's sect, Sun Yi was very angry. But after hearing what they said, she realized that there was indeed a disciple in Cloud's sect who was very outstanding and had caused quite a lot of big things recently. How dare you talk behind my Cloud sect's back? Watch my sword. Sun Yi condensed a sharp sword, and with a sharp killing intent, she attacked. Facing the incoming sword chi, Green and Red brothers went into a daze, especially Little Brother Red. Little Brother Red immediately closed his eyes, not daring to look at the incoming sword chi. Stretching out both of his hands, little brother Red had an expression that seemed to be saying, "Don't hit me." Ding, a light sound rang out in little brother Red's ears. Feeling that his palm was a bit itchy, little brother Red slowly opened his eyes. He saw the tip of the sword stabbing into his palm, but it did not pierce through. What was going on? Fake sword. Little brother Red pinched onto the tip of the sword. Caw! The clear and melodious sound gave little brother Red a fright. The entire sharp sword could be seen breaking apart from the tip of the sword, and in the end, only the sword hilt in Sun Yi's hand remained. Everyone fell silent, even Big Brother Green was stupefied. "Little brother, how did you do it?" Big Brother Green asked curiously. "I don't know, I just touched it." "Then I'll give it a try too." After saying that, Big Brother Green moved towards Sun Yi's body. Little brother Red shouted out loudly, "You're so lowly. What I'm touching is the sword, yet you're touching a person." Sun Yi came back to her senses, and her eyes focused. Her left hand turned into a palm, and a surge of spiritual energy erupted from the center of her palm. The large and small palms collided. Paw! Sun Yi was directly sent flying, and a large amount of blood spurted out of her mouth. Her beautiful eyes were filled with shock. Hai Daisy and Guang Tianlu were both stupefied. That red hair touched the sword, and the sword shattered. Chapter 230. Didn't you bring the frying pan with you? Big Brother Green looked at the butt of his little brother. It was obvious that there was a frying pan there. Looking at Hai Daisy, who was running away, Big Brother Green aimed at his target and threw the spatula in his hand. A muffled sound came from afar, and a black shadow fell from the sky. Big Brother Green heaved a sigh of relief. "It's done." But they didn't die," Little Brother Red said worriedly. Big Brother Green thought for a moment, then said, "Put the three of them down first, we'll think of a way." Little Brother Red nodded his head, then gathered the three injured people together and went to the depths of the forest. The Green and Red brothers frowned as they looked at the three people lying on the ground, not knowing what to do. At this moment, the three of them were very weak, but they were not dead. The spiritual energy in their bodies was slowly healing their wounds. "Big brother, what should we do?" Little Brother Red asked anxiously. Big Brother Green patted his little brother's shoulder and said, "At this time, you need courage. Big brother's courage is already enough. You go and finish them off, then we can go back to eat." When Sun Yi and the other two heard the conversation between the two, their expressions instantly sank. It would be hard for them to escape death today. "If you want to kill us, then kill us. Give us a quick death. However, even if I become a ghost, I won't let you off." Although Guang Tianlu was weak, he was still full of energy, which meant that he wouldn't die anytime soon. Sun Yi, on the other hand, was different. She was a woman and had an advantage. "Little brothers, if you can let me go, I can satisfy all your requests." After saying that, Sun Yi revealed a bashful look. This made the Green and Red brothers very excited, and they subconsciously showed respect to her. Hai Daisy and Guang Tianlu both cursed at how shameless he was. This was probably how he became the sect master. "Big brother, I can't bear to lay my hands on such a beautiful woman. I'll leave her to you, big brother." With that said, he turned around and closed his eyes, covering his ears. Big Brother Green was quite ferocious when killing chickens. He could chop off a chicken's head with one slash, but killing people, Sun Yi seemed to have seen the hope of survival and hurriedly said, "Little big brother, don't worry. I'll live well." Hai Daisy and Guang Tianlu's faces were filled with disdain. "I know you are living well, don't speak," Big Brother Green shouted. This woman was so coquettish, she was actually showing off that she was living well. Who the f***ck didn't have a good life? I've been basking in the sun for 5 billion years. Have I ever shown off? One had to keep a low profile. Sunny felt a little dizzy. It seemed that this was still a boy, not a man. Hai Daisy and Guang Tianlu actually laughed out loud. Who asked you to act coquettishly? Other people wouldn't fall for your act at all. The green and red brothers squatted on the side and quietly discussed how to deal with it. Little brother, big brother usually treats you well, right? That's right. He often borrows money and doesn't return it. That's because big brother doesn't want to see you get sick. That's why he did this. You have to understand big brother's good intentions. Big brother, I know what you want to say. I'm scared. Big brother green sighed, I'm scared too, especially when I slash down with my blade. Their eyeballs will bulge out, it's very terrifying. That's right, we should have let them die easily. Little brother red said regretfully as he placed his palms together. You're right. After all, we're all good people. Little brother red nodded his head, agreeing with what his big brother said. Then, how can we let them die easily and painlessly? I heard that euthanasia is the best. It's a pity we don't have it. The second best would be to let blood out. I heard that it's not very painful. If you let it out, people will faint and then die. This is a good idea, let's let blood out. Big brother green took out a kitchen knife and walked over. You two can be at ease, I will let you two die peacefully. Big brother, I beg of you, I have a lot of money and a lot of treasures. Sunny didn't want to die. I just became the sect master, I don't want to die just like this. Big brother green sighed, if you want to blame something, blame yourself for provoking someone you shouldn't have provoked. The three of them were startled. Could it be Xiao Yi? Impossible, if Xiao Yi had such a strong subordinate, he would have used him long ago, then who could it be? Hai Daisy asked hurriedly, Big brother, you guys couldn't have gotten the wrong person, right? Little brother, we didn't get the wrong person, right? Big brother green asked. I don't know either. Little brother red shook his head. The three of them were about to collapse. You guys didn't even get a clear picture of the person before killing him, is this really good? At the very least, confirm the target. Big brother green could be seen holding on to Hai Daisy's other hand and said faintly, if there are three of you, then I wouldn't be wrong. And, we are killing based on the number of people, not based on their appearance. Little brother red added. The three of them were truly in despair, who is killing based on the number of people? Sunny asked, what if there were only two of us that appeared just now? Oh, then it wouldn't be you guys. Little brother red revealed out an expression of, you are an idiot, to actually ask such a childish question. The three of them let out a breath at the same time. Why didn't we split up and go back just now? Bear with it. Big brother green warned concernedly. Soon after, the main artery on Big brother green's wrist was cut, and blood sprayed out like a fountain. Next was Guang Tian Road, and last was Sun Yi. Sect master, it is a bit painful, just bear with it and it will be over soon. Big brother green touched onto Sun Yi's smooth little hand. It really hurts, so white, so tender. Just kill me. I don't dare to. Blood spilled out from the corner of Sun Yi's mouth. She was angered to the point that if she was able to move, she would have already committed suicide. To avoid being toyed with by them. Green and red brothers immediately ran away and waited, looking as if they had just set off firecrackers. Big brother, how long are we waiting for? Little brother red was very nervous. Around 10 minutes. 10 minutes later, go and see if they are dead or not. Little brother green shouted out. Little brother red took a deep breath, then stood up and went to take a look. Soon after, he shouted out, Big brother, they are not dead yet. What? Big brother green hurriedly ran over. As expected, they are not dead yet. Just kill me. Just kill me, the three were begging for death right now. This kind of bloodletting was nothing more than the cruelest torture. The spiritual energy in one's body was able to coagulate blood, and thus, while the blood was being coagulated, they would not die immediately. What people were afraid of was not death, but rather, they were afraid of waiting for death. Even though they knew that they were going to die soon, that kind of waiting was the cruelest and most painful torture. Big brother, what should we do? Little brother Red was very flustered. How would I know? Big brother Green was very vexed too. Suddenly, a black whirlpool appeared, and Wei Chang appeared while holding onto a thermos cup. Uncle Wei. Uncle Wei. The three looked at Wei Chang. I don't know him. Meanwhile, when Wei Chang saw the three's state, he went into a daze for a moment, then said happily. You guys did well. This kind of bloodletting method is indeed cruel and inhumane. I will report this matter to the boss. The boss will reward you guys. Green and Red brothers had a blank look on their faces. Is bloodletting inhumane? It's not like we are killing people. However, when Sun Yi and the other two heard what Wei Chang said, they were startled. Those two are subordinates, and the person who just came out is also a subordinate. If that is the case, then who is our boss? Chapter 231. Quickly deal with it. Your sister-in-law has already bought the food and is waiting for you guys to eat. After finished speaking, Wei Chang disappeared. The Green and Red brothers let out a breath and looked at the three people. Big brother, how about we cut another artery? That way, it might be faster. Good idea. Right now, the three people couldn't even scold out even if they wanted to. They are simply inhumane. To actually abuse you guys like this, I curse you guys to die a horrible death. 10 minutes later, the Green and Red brothers returned to the rented house. Looking at the two people who appeared, Tang Wei said with a slight smile, you guys are not used to it, right? I was the same at the start as well. I just got used to killing and killing. Now that I think about it, I still feel a bit excited. The Green and Red brothers took a look at each other, and an evil smile appeared on the corner of their mouth. Thinking back to the scene just now, it was indeed very violent and exciting. All right, don't just stand there, come over and eat. Thank you, sister-in-law. Thank you, sister-in-law. Wei Chang walked out from the bedroom and asked curiously, where did you guys throw the corpses to? Isn't it very conspicuous? Little brother, you tell them. Big brother Green poked his little brother. Little brother Red was a bit embarrassed as he said hesitantly, we left the corpses at the funeral parlor. Wei Chang, Tang Wei. Immediately, Wei Chang's angry scolding could be heard. The Green and Red brothers didn't even eat and immediately went to deal with the corpses. After the two left, Tang Wei smiled and said, they are still newbies, Uncle Wei, don't be angry. I am afraid that his honor will blame us. Wei Chang laughed bitterly. Tang Wei laughed lightly, then said faintly, Uncle Wei, our money is almost gone, we still have to feed them. Xiao Tang, you can be at ease, Uncle Wei won't let you suffer. Uncle Wei, I am not afraid of suffering, I am just afraid that you won't be able to keep up with your nutrition, and your illness won't be cured. Wei Chang was puzzled, then asked, Xiao Tang, just what illness do I have? Uncle Wei, it's fine as long as you know, there is no need to ask. How would I know? All right, you aren't sick, right? Quickly come over and eat. Wei Chang was very helpless. As for the problem of money, I can only look for Death Mage. I hope that my little brother can have some money to deal with this emergency. Death Mage expressed that he would immediately deliver the money to Yi Hua. I forgot to bribe the betrothal gifts that I had snatched last time. Right now, Yi Hua was also distressed about money. Qinya is too ruthless, she isn't even giving me a single cent. Of course, I won't ask her for money. I can only look for my subordinates to give me some money to deal with this emergency. However, I have to express it in a more subtle way. I can't let them see that my money is being controlled. If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have given that 50 billion to Chinya. Irritated, depressed. Your Honor. At this time, Wei Chang suddenly sent a voice transmission. Yi Hua stood on the balcony of his office and smoked while looking at the hot pot restaurant that was not far away from him. What happened? Death Mage has something to offer to His Honor. Yi Hua's eyes shone. Bring him to Leisure Bar's storage room. Yes. Yi Hua went downstairs and arrived at the storage room on the first floor. Wei Chang could be seen bringing along Death Mage and Sun Fang. The three kneeled down respectfully and shouted out at the same time, "Subordinate pays respect to Your Honor." Yi Hua swept his gaze across everyone and shouted out with a deep voice, "All of you, get up." "Thank you, Your Honor." Looking at the mahogany chest at the side, Yi Hua asked faintly, "What's inside?" Death Mage hurriedly said, "Your Honor, these are all small things that Subordinate made. I hope that Your Honor will accept them." Yi Hua slowly walked over and opened up the mahogany chest. A golden light immediately lit up the entire room. When Yi Hua opened up the chest, he saw that the chest was filled with jewelry and a white fan. "Your Honor, this is an ancient godly item, God Leaf Fan." Sun Fang added. Yi Hua casually threw the fan into the chest and said faintly, "I don't need these things." Death Mage and Sun Fang's heart sunk. "But, seeing that you two have put in so much effort, I will reluctantly accept them." Death Mage and Sun Fang became joyous and hurriedly kowtowed to Yi Hua. Yi Hua let out a breath. "Luckily, they didn't see that I am bankrupt. This is simply timely rain. This little skeleton is not bad. I didn't waste the marriage that I gave him." "What movements did Ying family make recently?" Yi Hua asked. Death Mage didn't reply. After all, His Honor wanted Sun Fang to monitor Ying family's every movement. Replying to Your Honor, Ying family sent someone over to Voidless Realm to negotiate. Sun Fang was a lot more obedient in front of Yi Hua. She didn't dare to be careless in the slightest. "What is Voidless Realm?" Sun Fang replied, "Voidless Realm is one of the big powers in the north." "Oh, is that so? Let them negotiate then. It would be best if the negotiation fails." Yi Hua said faintly. "The more ruthless they fight, the happier I will be." "Wei Chang, how did the Green and Red brothers perform today?" Wei Chang replied respectfully, "The Green and Red brothers' performance was out of my expectations. Their killing methods were incomparably ruthless, and their methods were extremely frightening." "That's good, I like this kind of people." "After those three people died, is there any reaction from the south?" The three people didn't speak, seemingly, they didn't keep up with the intelligence. Yi Hua immediately wrinkled his brows. The three people immediately knelt onto the ground. Subordinates have failed in their duties. Intelligence must keep up with the tempo. I don't want to be the last one to know. Yi Hua said coldly. "In the past, I didn't know the importance of intelligence, but now, I know." "Yes." The three people shouted out in unison. After scolding their subordinates, they still had to ask about their subordinates' private matters to show their concern. "Sun Fang." Yi Hua called out. "Subordinate is here." Yi Hua asked faintly, "How are you getting along with my little skeleton?" Sun Fang's beautiful face immediately became bright red. Subordinate, seems like this little skeleton didn't manage to do it. Wei Chang, kill it." Yi Hua shouted out coldly. Wei Chang nodded his head, yes. Death Mage was stupefied. Not only was Death Mage stupefied, Sun Fang was also stupefied. "Your Honor." Sun Fang immediately knelt onto the ground and shouted out hurriedly. Yi Hua said gravely, "Sun Fang, since you have joined my team, you should be clear of my rules. My team doesn't need useless people, and towards useless people, I will only kill them." Death Mage and Sun Fang never expected that things would turn out like this. Originally, they were here to send gifts, but they didn't expect that they would send a disaster instead. Little skeleton didn't manage to meet my requirements, and thus, he naturally won't be able to escape death. Wei Chang, he is your subordinate, you go ahead and kill him. Yihua said faintly, not showing any signs of letting go. Towards Yihua's orders, Wei Chang would only obey and not go against it. Looking at Death Mage, Wei Chang said faintly, do you two have anything else to say? Your Honor. He didn't do anything wrong. Sun Fang hurriedly begged, completely unaware of how much she wanted Death Mage to die back then. Towards Sun Fang's begging, Yihua didn't pay attention to it. Death Mage put down his weapon and untied his black cloak, revealing his skeletal body. Lightly placing his hand onto Sun Fang's shoulder, Yihua told her not to anger his honor, if not, two of them would die. Chapter 232. Quickly kneel down and beg his honor, what are you standing there foolishly for? Looking at Death Mage, Sun Fang shouted out while choking with sobs. Death Mage took out his phone and typed a few words. Sun Fang, your wish is about to come true. Looking at these words, Sun Fang's tears finally fell. That's right, my wish is going to be realized, but why don't I want to realize it anymore? Without this adorable skeleton, who am I going to bully in the future? Who am I going to play games with in the future? For the sake of topping up money, I won't be able to see the scene of the skeleton emitting smoke anymore. Sun Fang let out a sigh, then kneeled in front of Yihua and said, Your Honor, subordinate's wish is to kill Death Mage, then kill myself afterward. Thank you, Your Honor, for helping Sun Fang take revenge, but please, Your Honor, after you take care of Death Mage, you can also take care of Sun Fang. Death Mage didn't even have time to type, and he let out a GGG sound, royal translation, you're such an idiot. You actually want to die. Yihua looked at Sun Fang who was kneeling on the ground, and he seemed to be deep in thought. In actuality, I can spare its life, but are you willing to die in its place? Yihua asked. Sun Fang turned her head around and took a look at Death Mage, then said gravely, Sun Fang didn't want to live any longer. To be able to die in the hands of someone as powerful as Your Honor, Sun Fang feels that it is worth it. Fuck, his underling's underling used a skeleton body to pick up such a beautiful woman, and this woman actually dared to die for it. I, the Supreme Overlord, am so handsome, and yet, those two women still want to die with me. If I were to reveal my true body, wouldn't I have no choice but to go and commit suicide? We are both skeletons, but why are you so outstanding? That's good. This sovereign will fulfill your wish. Yihua slowly raised his hand, and a lump of golden flames emerged from his hand. Death Mage could be seen not caring about anything else as he immediately rushed forward and used his bones to protect Sun Fang. Your Honor, forgive subordinate for being rude. If Your Honor wants to kill someone, then go ahead and kill subordinate. Looking at Death Mage and Sun Fang, Yihua suddenly thought of an idea. I have never met with any difficulties before. If there comes a day when I am unable to hold on and am about to die, would they be like this? Yihua expressed his curiosity. After keeping the flames, Yihua said faintly, All right, I was just joking, look at how nervous the two of you are. A joke? You don't look like you're joking. Death Mage and Sun Fang were both stupefied, and Sun Fang's face turned red as she hurriedly pushed Death Mage away. Your Honor. Sun Fang's face was about to drip blood. His honor is so powerful, but I didn't expect that he would actually be so mischievous, to actually allow me and a skeleton to poke a hole in a piece of paper. Yihua said with a slight smile, Sun Fang, if you like him, then you like him. There is nothing wrong with that. Although he is of a different race, it doesn't matter. Your Honor. Sun Fang felt that she was going to dig a hole in the ground. Death Mage was overjoyed. This woman even said that she doesn't like me, and she is even willing to die for me. I am so touched, as expected of the ugly woman that I like. Yihua put away his smile and said calmly, Sun Fang, if you want to give birth to a child, I will bestow a body to it. I, the Supreme Overlord, can help you with this matter. Your Honor, I don't want to have a child with it. Sun Fang said shyly. Today, His Honor actually managed to see through my inner thoughts. When I return, I will definitely be laughed at by the skeletons. Alright, I agree to your request. Actually, not having children is also good. Death Mage and Sun Fang were both stupefied. His Honor isn't taking the normal path. What he expressed just now was shyness. Who would talk about giving birth to a child at this time? Yihua waved his hand. The two of you can leave for now. From today onwards, you have to pay attention to the intelligence gathering. Yes. Yes. Death Mage brought Sun Fang and left. Seems like after returning to Ying family, the two of them are going to bicker with each other again. Wei Chang revealed out a respectful smile. Your Honor truly sympathizes with subordinate, personally helping subordinate pull the strings of marriage, and even helping to break the gap between them. Subordinate is truly convinced by Your Honor. Sun Fang is a good woman, and similarly, she is also a good subordinate. Put her in an important position in the future. Subordinate understands. Alright, you can go back and accompany your Xiao Tang. I still have things to do. Yes. After Wei Chang left, Yihua opened up the mahogany box again and muttered, Qingya, you didn't expect this, right? I have a lot of money. But, how am I supposed to exchange the gold for money? Sell it for money. So troublesome. If I had known that this would happen, I would have asked them to exchange the gold for money. Forget it, everyone would know that I don't have any money. Yihua opened the door and walked out. Upon seeing that Donghuang Baiji was currently lying on the bar counter and sleeping, Yihua sighed. Even Sun Fang is willing to die for Death Mage, and yet, my own woman wishes for me to die. This is the difference between us, motherfucker. If I had known that this would happen, I wouldn't have done what I did just now. I might as well order all of them to break up with each other. Before I settle the matter, I am not allowed to reconcile with each other. When Yihua arrived at the bedroom, he saw that the two beauties on the bed were actually not sleeping and were chatting with each other. When Qingya saw Yihua, the smile on her face immediately changed. When Dong Huangli saw Yihua, she shouted out with a smile, Daddy. Yihua carried his daughter who was lying on the bed and said with a smile, What are Ali and Aunt Qing talking about? Daddy, Ali and Aunt Qing are making a pinky promise, you can't tell others about it. If not, Ali will become a person who goes back on her words. Mommy often tells Ali that one must be honest and not lie to others. Hearing what Ali said, Donghuang Baiji was definitely talking about me. Qingya, who was lying on the bed, snorted. Ali is a big liar. Pinching onto his daughter's little nose, Yihua said faintly, Daddy, can you teach Ali a powerful technique? Papa, really? Of course it's true, why would Daddy lie to little Ali? That's great, Ali wants to learn it. After the father and daughter left, Qingya got off the bed and decided to go and have a chat with Donghuang Baiji. Yihua brought his daughter to his office and sat on the boss's chair. Donghuang Li stood on her father's lap with a face full of expectation. Yihua stretched out his index finger. Puff! A purple flame appeared on the tip of his finger, and it looked very beautiful. Donghuang Li was attracted by the flame in Yihua's eyes. Daddy, this purple flame is so beautiful, so beautiful. Ali, this is Sky Ghost Fire, one of the most powerful flames in history. It is capable of burning souls, do you want to learn it? Yihua said with a smile. Ali wants to learn it, but Ali is afraid that I won't be able to learn it and will disappoint Daddy. Donghuang Li's little mouth crooked. Silly child, there is no need to be afraid of failure, giving up on failure is what is scary. Yihua taught Ali attentively. I haven't been by Ali's side for more than 2 years, and I didn't expect that Ali's mentality would be so bad. How is that Donghuang Baiji a mother? Dong Huangli pondered, then said seriously, Daddy, Ali understands. Ali will bravely try it. Daddy's good daughter, Ali, try it. As Yihua's bloodline, Dong Huangli inherited all of Yihua's innate skills, just that, she had yet to awaken them. Just like a character in a game, the character would have all of the skills, but the character would only be level 1, and would have to slowly unlock the skills. Dong Huangli imitated her father, stretched out her little index finger and looked at it earnestly. After a long while, not even a single spark appeared on the index finger. Ali became anxious, but she didn't want to disappoint her father. Thus, stubbornness could be seen on her little face. I want to hang Yihua up and give him a good beating, and let him know how formidable I am. Who asked him to lie to me? Although Yihua was clearly smiling, tears were flowing out from her beautiful eyes. How could Qinya not be in pain? When this atmosphere arrived, tears unconsciously flowed down from her eyes. Sitting at the bar counter, the two women burst into tears. However, this scene was witnessed by Yizizi, who came downstairs to grab some spicy sticks. While eating the spicy strip, Yizizi couldn't help but sigh in admiration. These two madams were really a good match. Even when they were crying, they almost cried together. After saying that, Yizizi skipped upstairs to play games. After crying enough, the two beauties' eyes were red and swollen, looking very sad. Donghuang Baiji choked with sobs. Qinya, do you want to leave this place? Yes. Qinya nodded her head. In actuality, she had long wanted to leave this place and calm down by herself. If there's a chance, I will bring you to Voidless Realm. The air there is good, it is suitable for nurturing the fetus. Qinya asked confusedly, Voidless Realm. And, that place is my territory, no one will disturb you. Even if Yihua comes, I will be able to make him back off. But we are unable to leave at all. Qinya sighed. Facing such a tyrant, how is it possible for us to run away? Donghuang Baiji naturally didn't know how to run away. Let's look at the situation first. He can't possibly lock us up forever, right? Baiji, you might not know this, but Yihua is really capable of doing such a thing. He isn't playing around with us. Qinya understood Yihua now. Although he dotes on you, once you provoke him, he won't be reasonable with you. Donghuang Baiji said coldly, how can I do that? I still have a lot of things that I have to deal with outside. Thinking about how I sneaked out this time, if I am discovered to be missing, wouldn't Voidless Realm be in chaos? No. I have to rush back. Thinking up to here, Donghuang Baiji pounded on the air wall and shouted out, Yihua. Get down here. Qinya was very confused. Stretching out her hand, she touched the air wall, but there wasn't anything there. Donghuang Baiji laughed bitterly. Qinya, this is the difference between you and me. Chapter 234. Yihua, who was currently watching Donghuang Li's practice, wrinkled his brows. What is this woman talking about again? Ali, practice properly. Yihua patted onto his daughter's head. Donghuang Li nodded her head earnestly. Ali understands. Walking down the stairs, Yihua was startled. They are actually together. What does that mean? Donghuang Baiji, you really don't have the slightest bit of etiquette for shouting like this. Yihua shouted out gravely. As my woman, look at how she is acting right now. She is acting just like an auntie. If my subordinates were to see this, I, the Supreme Overlord, would truly be throwing away my face. Qinya wrinkled her brows and stood at the side without saying a word. She was even feeling a bit of sympathy for Dong Huang Baiji. However, he had been lectured like this in the past, but the situation now was different. Someone else was raising a child with you, but you didn't say anything nice. Instead, you scolded me the moment you came. Yi Hua. Let me out. Dong Huang Baiji hit the air wall and shouted out. Yi Hua stood outside of the air wall and looked at Dong Huang Baiji, then said faintly, if you don't have the slightest change, then just obediently stay here. Yi Hua, that's enough. Is there a need to imprison others? At this moment, Qingye also spoke out to persuade Yi Hua. This caused Yi Hua to be very unhappy. Just whose side are you standing on? Looking at Qingye, Yi Hua said coldly, Qingye, go upstairs and rest. No. I want to go out too. Qingye shouted out with a stern face. This caused Yi Hua to be even angrier. Do these two women really want to leave this place that much? I won't let it go. Qingye, don't make me angry again. Qingye didn't seem to be afraid at all, and continued to shout out, Yi Hua, let me tell you. I'm not your pet canary. Enough. Yi Hua shouted out angrily. This roar caused the two women to be stupefied. Right now, Yi Hua's expression was sinister, and a red light was flickering within his pair of black pupils. Yi Hua had been fighting for his entire life, and there was no one who was able to make him so angry. Even those overlords were unable to do so. However, Yi Hua didn't expect that he would be provoked by two women, and these two women were even his own women. Qingye. I'm talking to this woman. You can go upstairs and wait. After calming down the anger in his heart, Yi Hua said coldly. Qingye looked at Yi Hua in disbelief. He actually shouted at me, this bastard that deserves 1,000 cuts. Qingye and Dong Huang Baiji could be seen picking up chairs and throwing them towards Yi Hua. Their expressions were that of wanting to kill Yi Hua. Yi Hua was angered to the point that his veins were about to pop out, and his handsome face had turned red from anger. Qingye. You asked for it. The two of you better stay here and don't go anywhere. With that, he turned around and went upstairs. Not only was the conflict within the family not resolved, it was becoming more and more intense, and now, even Qingye was locked up. Right now, Qingye was fiercely smashing the air wall with a chair and shouted out loudly, Yi Hua, I hate you. I hate you. Meanwhile, Dong Huang Baiji who was at the side was the same as well, Yi Hua, you bastard. I, Dong Huang Baiji, will never be your woman in my entire life. I, Qingye, am the same. I want a divorce. Facing the two women's various threats, Yi Hua slowly turned his head around and said coldly, then, the two of you shall stay here forever. Qingye and Dong Huang Baiji powerlessly fell onto the ground, then hugged onto each other and cried bitterly. Soon after, the two of them hugged onto each other and cried bitterly. Yi Hua stood at the entrance of the staircase, then lit up a cigarette and started smoking. Now, even Qingye has become like that, there's no way I can continue living like this. Suddenly, Yi Hua thought of something and walked downstairs again, then shouted out faintly, Dong Huang Baiji, from today onwards, Ali's surname will be Yi. Dong Huang Baiji who was currently crying went into a daze, then began smashing the air wall crazily, Yi Hua. You don't have the right to do this, Ali is mine. You can't snatch her away. I'm just informing you, I'm not asking for your permission. After finished speaking, Yi Hua went upstairs. No. Yi Hua, you can't do this, Ali was raised by me, Ali. Ah. Dong Huang Baiji's heart-wrenching screams were extremely heart-wrenching. Dong Huang Baiji sat paralyzed on the ground and slapped the air wall powerlessly. This caused Qingye who was at the side to be very worried. She didn't care about herself and hurriedly comforted Dong Huang Baiji. Dong Huang Baiji is truly too pitiful. Dong Huang Baiji has been raising a child for so long, and right now, the moment Yihua takes over, he wants the child to change her name. Which mother would be able to endure such a thing? Yihua stood outside and smoked a cigarette, then walked into the office. Right now, Dong Huangli was seriously practicing, and her little face was filled with sweat. Right now, only my daughter can make me feel at ease, not a single other person can make me feel at ease. Daddy, when Dong Huangli saw that her father had arrived, she immediately stretched out her hands, wanting to hug Yihua. Yihua's mood became a lot better. He stretched out his hands and hugged his daughter. How is Ali's practice? Daddy, Ali is only able to condense fire. I am unable to control it, Dong Huangli said disappointedly. She was a bit afraid that her father would get angry, because back in Voidless Realm, if Ali couldn't reach her mother's requirements, her mother would punish her. Yihua naturally wouldn't. Pinching onto Ali's little face, he said, "It's all right, take your time." Seeing that her father didn't blame her and even comforted her, Dong Huangli became extremely happy and said, "Ali likes Daddy the most, children are like this, they will like whoever treats them well." While hugging onto his daughter, Dong Huangli sat on the sofa and took out a tissue to wipe Ali's sweat. Suddenly, Dong Huangli's brows wrinkled and she actually started crying. "Ali, what's wrong?" Yihua asked worriedly. "Woo, Daddy treats Ali too well. Mommy has never even wiped Ali's tears before." From the looks of it, Dong Huang Baiji was taught by a tiger mother. Don't cry, in the future, with Daddy here, no one will dare to bully you," Yihua said gravely. "I wonder how much suffering Ali has suffered together with Dong Huang Baiji." Dong Huangli hugged onto her father tightly and cried. This feeling of being doted on by her father was unprecedented. "Ali, Daddy has something to tell you," Yihua said while caressing onto his daughter's hair. And Dong Huangli replied. Yihua said faintly, "Ali, in the future, you will follow Daddy's surname Yi." Then Ali won't be called Dong Huangli anymore, will she be called Yili? And, that's right. Alright, Ali will listen to Daddy's words. Dong Huangli agreed happily. However, she suddenly thought of something and frowned. Yihua was very happy. My daughter is so obedient and sensible. Daddy, if Ali's surname becomes Yi, Mommy will be very sad. Dong Huangli opened her eyes wide and looked at her father. Ali doesn't want to follow Daddy's surname. In actuality, Yihua didn't really care much about surnames. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. In the past, Yihua didn't know about it, but now that he knew about it, he definitely had to change it. Dong Huangli shook her head. Of course, Ali wants to follow Daddy's surname, but if that's the case, Mommy will be alone. Yihua remained silent. Although Mommy is very strict with Ali can tell that Mommy actually loves Ali a lot, just that Mommy didn't say it out. Furthermore, Mommy only has Ali. I'm afraid that Mommy will be very sad. Chapter 235. Seeing that her father didn't say anything, Dong Huangli thought that her father was angry, thus she hurriedly said, "Daddy, don't be angry, Ali will follow Daddy's surname. However, in the future, when Daddy and Mommy have a child, one of them must follow Mommy's surname. If not, Mommy will be too lonely," Dong Huangli said pitifully. Upon hearing that, Yihua laughed. Ali truly loves Mommy. Yes, Ali also loves Papa. Yihua said faintly, then, Ali shall follow Mommy's surname. But Ali also wants to have Papa's surname. The little fellow felt extremely wronged. She pouted and looked very unhappy. Can a mere surname stop the love between us father and daughter? Right now, Dong Huangli liked Yihua even more. Dong Huangli kissed her father's cheek ferociously, while Yihua lifted Dong Huangli up. Oh, Ollie can fly. Seeing that the little fellow was happy, Yihua was very happy too. At such a young age, he already knows how to dote on his parents. Papa, don't worry. I won't embarrass you in the future. This is more like my daughter. Upstairs, the father and daughter were getting along harmoniously, while downstairs, wailing endlessly. Even Qing Yutong and Yizizi, who were playing games, couldn't sit still anymore, and both of them came downstairs to take a look. In the end, Qing Yutong was instantly dumbfounded. Qing Yutong really didn't dare to believe that her brother-in-law would actually shut two people up in one go. I did ask you to be jealous, big sister, you shouldn't be jealous like this. Yizizi expressed that his honor was already very benevolent. If it was in the past, Yizizi would not only be locked up here, he would also be locked up in a place that was even more terrifying. Yutong, go up and talk to Yihua. I want to divorce him. Qingya's eyes were red and swollen as she lightly comforted Dong Huang Baiji, who was in pain. Yizizi blinked her beautiful eyes and said, Big sister-in-law, big cousin has a bad temper. Don't be angry. That's right, brother-in-law definitely didn't do it on purpose. Right now, Qing Yutong didn't dare to go and anger Yihua, if not, her butt would definitely be beaten swollen. Yizizi was thinking the same way as well. Right now, whoever stands on the side of Qingya and Dong Huang Baiji would be asking for a beating. Qingya pointed at the two of them and said in a low voice, You two traitors. During the crucial moment, he stood on Yihua's side. Sister, don't be angry. It's not like you don't know brother-in-law. Won't it be over if you act coquettishly? Qingya shouted out indignantly and shyly, I even acted coquettishly towards him, let him go and die. Return my daughter to me. I want Ollie. Right now, Dong Huang Baiji was choking with tears. Qing Yutong and Yizizi felt uncomfortable looking at this woman. This woman is truly very pitiful. Could it be that his honor doesn't know how to coax her? Sigh, Mama, Dong Huangli could be heard shouting out, then pounced over like a gust of wind. After not seeing her daughter for a few hours, Dong Huang Baiji immediately hugged onto Dong Huangli and said, Ollie, Mama, why are you crying? Don't cry, Ollie, wipe Mom's tears. The more sensible Dong Huangli was, the more sad Dong Huang Baiji cried. If I didn't lose my temper that day, this little fellow wouldn't have left the house, and wouldn't have met with this heartless father of mine. At this moment, Yihua walked over unhurriedly and said faintly, Yutong, go and bring the table over. It's time to eat. Oh. Qing Yutong and Yizizi immediately went to prepare the tableware. Qingya gnashed her teeth in anger. Traitor. The feeling of hugging a mother and hugging a father are different. A mother's embrace is warm, while a father's embrace is warm and safe. Mama, Daddy agreed to let Ollie have the surname Dong Huang. Dong Huangli, who was nestled in her mother's embrace, said in a low voice. Dong Huang Baiji went into a daze, then raised her head and looked towards Yihua, who was smoking at the side. Will this man be so kind-hearted? I won't believe it even if I'm beaten to death. Dong Huangli could be heard adding a sentence. Daddy said that in the future, the child that he and Mommy give birth to must have the surname Yi. Cough, cough, cough. Yihua choked upon hearing his daughter's words. You still want my bloodline? That will have to depend on your performance. Do you think that it is that easy to obtain my bloodline? Wishful thinking. Dong Huang Baiji shouted out at Yihua for being shameless. To actually say such things to a child, and still want to give birth to a child with me, wishful thinking. In any case, I don't plan to pay attention to Yihua for the rest of my life. I am very angry, the kind that I can't coax. After setting up the dining table, Yihua brought over the meat of star-cleansing sparrow and golden delicate crane. Come and eat. Yihua shouted towards the two women. Mama, Aunt Qing, it's time to eat. Dong Huangli could be seen dragging the two women to the dining table. How could children be dragged by adults? It was just that Qingye and Dong Huang Baiji didn't resist. Qin Yutong couldn't take it anymore, and Yizizi was also drooling. This meat is pretty good, His Honor sure knows how to live his life. Ali, when you are growing, eat more. Yi Hua said tenderly. Dong Huangli smiled sweetly. Ali will start eating then. Yi Hua nodded his head, giving his approval. Wow, Daddy, what meat is this? It is so delicious. Dong Huangli cried out in surprise. I have never eaten such delicious meat before. Qin Yutong laughed. Ali, eat this meat, you can become prettier too, really. In that case, Ali has to eat more, you will become prettier than Mommy. Dong Huangli laughed happily. There was no need to talk about Yi Hua and Dong Huang Baiji's appearance, so how could the child that the two gave birth to be bad? The child would obviously not be bad, and the meat could only be said to be the icing on the cake. Qingye and Dong Huang Baiji didn't move. It seemed like they were going on a hunger strike to protest against Yi Hua's actions. Qin Yutong and Yizizi noticed that the atmosphere wasn't quite right, thus they carried their plates and went upstairs to eat. Mom, Aunt Qing, why aren't the two of you eating? This meat is really delicious. Dong Huangli had already eaten 2 big pieces of meat, yet, she still wasn't satisfied. Aunt Qing is on a diet, Ali, you eat. Qingye gave her share to Ali. Mommy is on a diet too, Ali, you eat. Dong Huang Baiji didn't eat either. Looking at the two women's actions, I, the Supreme Overlord, like these two women. However, let's see how long you two can persevere for. Dong Huangli licked her lips. Ali won't be polite then. Hearing what Dong Huangli said, a trace of an arc appeared on the corner of the two women's lips, but very quickly, the arc disappeared. Daddy, Ali wants to sleep with Mommy tonight, do you want to come? Dong Huang Baiji, Yi Hua said faintly, your mommy is currently under Daddy's inspection, if you perform well, you will be able to sleep with Daddy. Oh, is that so? Then, Mommy, you have to perform well and strive to sleep with Daddy as soon as possible. Dong Huang Baiji, Yi Hua took a sip of wine, then said faintly, Baiji, you bring Ali to sleep in the office today, I will go get a bed later on. Qingye, you sleep with me. Yi Hua, who was sitting in a big boss position, gave out his orders. Who wants to sleep with you? I would rather sleep on the floor than sleep with you. Qingye said with a cold expression. It's not up to you to say no. Chapter 236. After dinner, Yi Hua released the confinement of the two women and got a bed and placed it in the office. The bed will be Dong Huang Baiji's bedroom for the time being. Right now, Dong Huang Baiji was accompanying her daughter. It could be said that this was the first time that Dong Huang Baiji was wholeheartedly accompanying her daughter. On the other hand, Qingye was brought into the bedroom by Yi Hua. To be more precise, Qingye was carried into the bedroom by Yi Hua, and Qingye was even crying and throwing a tantrum in the bedroom, causing Yi Hua to feel extremely miserable. Yi Hua could only cast a spell on Qingye, and only then did Qingye fall asleep peacefully. If it was possible, Yi Hua wanted to directly cast a spell to turn Qingye into the kind of woman that he wanted. However, if he were to use it, Qingye would no longer be Qingye. She would just be an empty shell without a soul, and this was not what Yi Hua wanted. Lying on the comfortable bed, Yi Hua hugged onto Qingye as usual and lightly wiped away the tear stains on the corner of Qingye's eyes. Why don't you listen to me? If you're a little more obedient, I won't bully you. You still dare to say such foolish words like wanting a divorce. If it was in the past, I would have smacked your buttocks until they were swollen, and you even froze my card. You are truly a little mischievous. While speaking, Yi Hua himself started laughing. Qingye is just so charming, even if she gets angry, Yi Hua would still like her. As for his feelings towards Dong Huang Baiji, Yihua didn't have a deep impression of her. He just felt sorry for what happened in the past, and at the same time, he was also thankful that Donghuang Baizhi gave birth to Ali. Just based on this point alone, Yihua would definitely protect Donghuang Baizhi. After all, Donghuang Baizhi was already his woman, how could he possibly leave her outside? That was impossible. Within the office, Donghuang Baizhi was currently hugging onto her daughter as she slept. Ever since Ali was born, she had never hugged onto her daughter to sleep like this. As a mother, Donghuang Baizhi truly felt ashamed and a failure. However, after this incident, Donghuang Baizhi decided that she would often accompany her daughter and let her feel the warmth of a mother. Looking at Ali who was nestled in her bosom, Donghuang Baizhi revealed out a slight smile. The smile of an empress is truly incomparably beautiful. Gulp, the empress was still a human, after all. Without spiritual power, she, too, would be hungry. Since arriving here yesterday, other than having a pancake in the morning, the rest of his food had been alcohol. He didn't eat anything at noon or at night. Now that he was in a better mood, he was hungry. Donghuang Baizhi covered her daughter's body with the blanket, then got down from the bed to see if there was anything to eat. Voidless Realm's Empress was just like a little thief as she searched for food everywhere. However, there was nothing to eat in the entire office. Stealthily opening the door to take a look, only to discover that Yihua wasn't there. Thus, I might as well go downstairs to look for Yihua. On the bar counter, other than wine, there was only more wine. Right now, Donghuang Baizhi did not want to drink wine. If not, Ali would say that there was a smell of wine on her body. There should be something to eat here, right? Donghuang Baizhi walked towards the leisure bar storage area. After searching for a long time, he still couldn't find anything to eat, only drinks. What Yihua didn't know was that Yihua had already hidden away the spicy gluten to prevent Qin Yutong from secretly eating spicy gluten every day. There should be some food in this storage room, right? I am about to starve to death. It had been a long time since Donghuang Baizhi experienced the feeling of hunger. After all, with the support of spiritual energy, even if she didn't eat for an entire month, it would still be fine. He opened the door of the storage room. It was pitch black inside. He touched the edge of the door. Paw. When the light was turned on, Donghuang Baizhi was immediately overjoyed. Master Kang's instant noodles, and there were even boxes of them. Open the package and take out a bucket. Finally, I don't have to suffer from hunger anymore. This damnable Yihua, to actually make me, the Empress, come out in the middle of the night to look for food. Holding on to the instant noodles, Donghuang Baizhi turned around and walked out of the restaurant. Suddenly, Donghuang Baizhi stopped her footsteps and slowly turned her head around to look at a corner. Why does this mahogany box look so familiar? Walking forward, Donghuang Baizhi opened one of the boxes, and inside the box was all gold. Looking at the mark on the gold, Donghuang Baizhi's expression changed. Soon after, Donghuang Baizhi opened the other boxes, and when she saw the god leaf fan, she was certain. So it was Yihua who intercepted and killed my people. If not, why would these betrothal gifts be here? This bastard actually killed my people. Yihua! Get down here! Donghuang Baizhi roared loudly and clenched her fists tightly, looking like she was going to fight Yihua to the death. Yihua, who was on the bed, wrinkled his brows. What is this woman doing again? Immediately disappearing from the bed, Yihua arrived at the storage room. Not sleeping in the middle of the night, what are you doing here? Yihua stood behind Donghuang Baizhi and asked. Donghuang Baizhi fiercely punched towards Yihua's face. Unfortunately, the speed of the punch was too slow, and Yihua grabbed onto it. Donghuang Baizhi, enough is enough. Don't think that just because you are my woman, you can be rude to me. Yihua tightly wrinkled his brows and lectured. Where did all these things come from? Chapter 237. Pulling Donghuang Baiji into his embrace, Yihua asked coldly, "Why do you want to cuckold me?" Donghuang Baiji struggled in Yihua's embrace, but it was useless. "I want to cuckold you, you ungrateful fellow." Yihua pressed Donghuang Baiji onto his thighs, then raised his hand and slapped. "Ah!" Donghuang Baiji couldn't help but let out a moan. "This is truly shocking. You bastard, you hit me again." "Pa! Ah!" Yihua said coldly, "Baiji, if not for Ali, I would have smacked your butt until it swells. Go ahead and hit me then, I will tell my daughter about it later. Let's see how her father hits her mother." Donghuang Baiji's words seemed to be revealing some information, causing Yihua to stop. Adding on Donghuang Baiji's concerned expression just now, Yihua felt that this woman definitely still had feelings for him. "Baiji, do you still like me?" Yihua asked curiously. "Even if I like a ghost, I won't like you. A woman who says one thing but means another, she's the same as Qinya." Yihua turned around and pressed Donghuang Baiji onto the ground, then immediately kissed her. Donghuang Baiji opened her eyes wide and struggled with all her might. However, facing the terrifying Yihua, she was completely useless. Yihua's sinful hand stretched into Donghuang Baiji's body and moved around Donghuang Baiji's delicate body. Every inch of Donghuang Baiji's body felt extremely good to the touch. Compared to 3 years ago, Donghuang Baiji's body was much more supple and supple. This situation made Donghuang Baiji think back to that night 3 years ago. That night was filled with both pain and happiness. "Baiji, you are the same as 3 years ago, feeling fast." Yihua took out his sinful hand and waved it in front of Donghuang Baiji's eyes. Donghuang Baiji didn't know where she got the strength from, but she pushed Yihua to the side, then ran out while covering her face. Yihua didn't chase after her, he sat on the ground and laughed lightly. "Seems like my charm is still the same as back then." Donghuang Baiji, who ran upstairs, crawled into her blanket. Her face was extremely beautiful with a blush. Thinking back to what happened just now, why am I so useless? Originally, I wanted to settle the score with him, but in the end, I was, even feeling. I am so embarrassed. At this moment, the Empress was like a little woman in love. That kind of coquettish pout and bashful anger was especially charming. Actually, for some reason, when she saw those big red wooden chests, she felt a little happy. Hearing that the office door was opened, Donghuang Baiji wrinkled her brows. Why did he come in? Could it be that he wanted to? Bastard, my daughter is still asleep. He heard the door being closed again and the footsteps leaving. Donghuang Baiji raised her head slightly and took a look. This person came in and then went out. What was the meaning of this? Looking at the instant noodles on the coffee table, Donghuang Baiji immediately understood. I, the Empress, have lost all of my face. In any case, he had already lost all his face. What's the big deal? Let's make some noodles first. She didn't expect him to prepare a super large ham sausage. He was quite attentive. Crazy hints. The fragrance of the instant noodles quickly woke up Donghuang Li, who was asleep. Whoosh, seeing that her mommy was eating noodles, Donghuang Li rubbed her big eyes. Mommy, what are you eating? Mommy is eating instant noodles. Donghuang Baiji felt very awkward, being caught by her daughter while eating instant noodles secretly. Ollie, come over, mommy will feed you. Ollie, come over, mommy will feed you. Donghuang Li, who had tasted instant noodles for the first time, felt that it was great. The noodles are elastic and tenacious, and the taste is also super fragrant. In just a few moments, the mother and daughter finished eating a bucket of instant noodles. Mommy, Ollie isn't full, I'm hungry. Donghuang Li pouted her small mouth. Donghuang Baiji also wanted to eat instant noodles, she wasn't full at all. Let's go down and get some, but Ollie can't tell Daddy, if not Daddy will be very fierce. And Li will keep it a secret. The mother and daughter secretly ran downstairs and brought back 2 more buckets of instant noodles. The fragrance is so fragrant. Yi Hua, who was hugging on to Qingye, laughed lightly. This Donghuang Baiji is a bit interesting, she suits my taste. The torturous day was finally over, and at the same time, a new day had arrived. Who knows what will happen on this day? Voidless Realm's morning was just like a fairyland. Clouds and mist lingered around the place, and spiritual energy was abundant. It was an exceptionally good place to train. Right now, within the palace hall, the 8 elders had a grave expression on their faces. The throne was completely empty, and it was truly making them anxious. I think that there is something wrong with this matter. Yuanda shouted out angrily. Xing Han stroked his beard and said, Brother Yuan, why do you say such a thing? The little prince has mysteriously disappeared, and now, the empress has also disappeared. Is this still not enough to prove that something is wrong? Yuanda shouted out with his hands behind his back. The empress has already disappeared for an entire day, how can I not be worried about such a big matter? What Brother Yuan said is extremely true. I also think that the disappearance of the empress and the little prince isn't a coincidence. Most probably, someone planned this. Perhaps, it might be that group of robbers. He Xian agreed with Yuanda's opinion. Xing Han shook his head, the empress is very strong, who would be able to kidnap the empress? Most probably, the empress missed her daughter very much and went out to look for her daughter. Everyone remained silent. Chapter 238. Yuanda and He Xian came to the living room to welcome the 2 from the Ying family. Ying Shang and Ying Kongshe did not put on stern expressions. Ying Shang was in a normal state, while Ying Kongshe looked excited. He was about to see the empress, and just thinking about it made him really excited. When the 4 of them met, it was inevitable that they would be polite to each other. Ying Kongshe couldn't hold himself back anymore and asked, when is the empress coming? He Xian smiled. Young Master Ying, the empress is currently in seclusion, and it will be a very long time before she comes out. Does that mean that the empress isn't willing to see us? Ying Shang's attitude instantly changed. This was clearly an excuse. Ying Kongshe hurriedly said, it doesn't matter. We'll just wait. Shut up. You good for nothing. Ying Shang sternly rebuked. Why did his elder brother ask him to bring such an idiot with him? With a gloomy expression, Yuanda said coldly, forgive me for speaking bluntly, but your majesty indeed had the intention of forming a marriage alliance with the Ying family. However, it seems that your son is impotent, so the marriage alliance is naturally nullified. Moreover, the betrothal gifts were stolen on the way. Bang! Ying Shang slammed the table. His eyes were as big as copper bells, and his eyeballs were about to pop out of their sockets. Whatever your empress says. Are you playing around with my Ying family? Third uncle, calm down. The empress definitely doesn't mean that. Ying Shang raised his hand and delivered a slap. How could there be such a man in the Ying family? Had he been eaten by a dog? With a single slap, Ying Kongshe fell to the ground. He covered his face in a delicate manner. Coupled with his androgynous voice, he looked exactly like a transvestite. Third uncle, you hit me. I want to tell father about this. Calling him daddy when he can't win was the character of a child. Yuanda and He Xian looked at each other. It was a good thing that Ying Kongshe was crippled. Otherwise, it would be embarrassing for the empress to marry such a man. That resume was all fake. Only by seeing the real person would one know the person's character. Actually, Ying Kongshe couldn't be blamed for this. After being raped, he had already started to develop his femininity. Sometimes, he would even use his flower-pinching finger, making it hard for people to defend against it. Bastard, I really want to King chop you into pieces. Ing Shang was infuriated when he heard Ing Shang's words. He had brought Ing Shang out to embarrass himself. He might as well lock him up on the island in the future. He Xian smiled and said, young Master Ing is still immature. You don't have to make things difficult for him. This was a blatant mockery. Was such an insensible man worthy of the Empress? Obviously not. He Xian, Ing Shang, will make my words clear today. If your Empress doesn't come out and explain herself, I'll make it clear. 3 days later, Ing family's army will come and greet us. With Yuanda's explosive temper, he suddenly stood up and shouted out, sure, our voidless realm will be waiting for your arrival. He Xian face-bombed. I really can't take it anymore. You guys are too casual. Ing Shang did not expect the other party's attitude to be so unyielding. Originally, he only wanted to scare the other party, but now it was hard for him to back down. All right. See you in 3 days. After saying that, he picked up Ing Kongsher. Ing Kongsher shouted, I don't want to go. I want the Empress. Ing Shang knocked him out with a single slap. What a disgrace. Watching the two of them leave, Yuanda said angrily, I'll kill them now. If we kill them now, we can't guarantee that the Ji family will also intervene. Don't forget that they are all from the south. He Xian shook his head. When two armies fought, they wouldn't kill the envoys. Everyone understood this principle. You guys are too hasty. You want to fight just like that? Yuanda was also speechless. The other party had already said that he would fight. Could it be that he had to admit defeat? Who has voidless realm ever been afraid of? Ing Shang rushed back to Ing family and immediately called for a meeting. All of Ing family's relatives were present, of course, other than Death Mage and Sun Fang. Sun Fang was only a supervisor and didn't interfere with Ing family's internal affairs. This made Ing family let out a sigh of relief. Family head, voidless realm is really going too far. That Empress doesn't even want to see us. Ing Shang reported the matter to his family head. Right now, Ing Kongsher woke up and said hurriedly, Father, perhaps the Empress is really in closed-door training. Ing Kongsher. Just which side are you on? Ing Shang lectured coldly. As the family head, Ing Jingshan still doesn't know about his son's character. Since Voidless Realm has accepted the challenge, then let's fight. My Ing family has been quiet for too long, it's time for the world to witness the strength of my Ing family. No one objected to Ing Jingshan's words. Ing family has been too low profile, and they are making use of this opportunity to rise up. Father. Shut up, from today onwards, you are grounded. Ing Jingshan originally just wanted to see his son's reaction, but the result was still the same. Ing Jingshan no longer held any hope in his heart. Father, Ing Kongsher's moan shocked everyone present, and some of them even felt like vomiting. No matter what, you are still a man of Ing family, how can you act coquettishly like a woman? Scram! Ing Jingshan shouted out sternly. Ing Kongsher stomped his feet, then walked out of the Ing family. Upon seeing this, the family members shook their heads. Ing family is truly a disgrace. Family head, should we inform Lord Sun about this matter? Chapter 239. Lord Sun, it's like this, 3 days later, my Ing family will be attacking Voidless Realm, and I came over to inform you about this. Ing Jingshan bowed and said respectfully. Attacking Voidless Realm, isn't this the result that his honor wants? Sun Fang nodded. I understand. If there's nothing else, then go and prepare. All right. After greeting them, Ing Jingshan went to take charge of the overall situation. They had to win this battle no matter what. After all, this was the first battle that the Ying family was going to face after leaving the mountain. After returning back to the room, Sun Fang told Death Mage about what happened. Death Mage didn't report this matter to his honor. After all, his honor had already said that it would be better for them to fight as fiercely as possible. Sun Fang leaned on Death Mage's shoulder bone and opened up the game. She said faintly, "Battle of the World seems to have brought heavy dust to the sea to look for treasures." Kakik. Imperial translation, he's dug up the entirety of the Ying clan's island. Sun Fang sighed. If only you could speak human language. I have to guess every time. He. Imperial translation, you can go and beg his honor then. In any case, I'm not going to go and beg his honor. If not, his honor would think that I like you a lot. Are you telling me to go and beg his honor? I'm not going to go and strangle you, you are making it seem as if I like you a lot. There isn't even a bit of flesh on your body, and when you lean against me, it feels very hard. After finished speaking, Sun Fang took a pillow and placed it on her shoulder bone. Death Mage was speechless. Only yesterday, his honor said that he was going to bestow me with a fleshly body. You are the one who is not willing to give me a fleshly body. Sun Fang was also very depressed. If I had known that this would happen, I would have not cared about my face yesterday and asked his honor to bestow me a body. I have a boyfriend, yet I am unable to touch him. His subordinates women were thinking of ways and means to push each other down, and as the boss, Yi Hua was currently thinking of how to make them stop, let alone push each other down. Holding on to Qinya, who had a cold expression on her face, Yi Hua came to buy fruit crepes again. The middle-aged woman smiled but did not say anything. This young man brought one a day. He was really amazing. Was he not afraid of failing? This Captain Yi Hua's ship had already capsized long ago, and he is currently in the midst of making up for it. Qinya, don't have such a cold face, smile a bit. Yi Hua said lightly. In actuality, Qinya, who had a cold face, was very interesting, and I feel that it is very challenging. Move aside. Qinya shouted out coldly and fiercely took a bite of the Chinese jianbing. My stomach is about to shrivel up from hunger, I can't let my stomach suffer when I get angry at him. Eat slowly, no one is going to fight with you over your food. Yi Hua couldn't help but tease, then took the lead and walked into leisure bar. Qinya, who was at the back, said fiercely, I don't want to, I want to eat big mouthfuls of food, what can you do to me? While holding on to the Chinese crepe, Yi Hua walked into the office. Right now, Dong Huang Baiji had already woken up, and Dong Huang Li was still sleeping soundly. I bought breakfast for you. Yi Hua placed the Chinese jianbing on the coffee table. Get out. Dong Huang Baiji stood beside the window with her back facing Yi Hua. Eat less instant noodles. Do you think I won't know if you throw it away? The whole house is filled with that smell. Dong Huang Baiji said gravely, it's none of your business. Yi Hua slowly walked towards Dong Huang Baiji, and when Dong Huang Baiji heard the footsteps getting closer and closer, her heartbeat became faster and faster. Reaching out his hands, he hugged her slender waist and pulled her into his arms. Let go of me. Dong Huang Baiji shouted out gravely. Yi Hua said faintly, Baiji, although you are very dishonest, your body is much more honest than other people. You scoundrel. A layer of redness appeared on Dong Huang Baiji's fair face. Although I haven't been with you for a long time, I know what you are thinking. If not, you wouldn't have resisted. Yi Hua moved closer to Dong Huang Baiji's ear and said, causing Dong Huang Baiji's heart to be in a mess. You are grabbing onto my hand. How am I supposed to resist? Yi Hua laughed lightly, Baiji, for the sake of Ali, we should let go of our grudges. I hope that Ali can have a mother's love and care, and of course, I can't lack my love and care as well. We will be a family. Dong Huang Baiji became silent, because this was what she desired the most from the bottom of her heart. For the sake of Ali, she was willing to try. Seeing that Dong Huang Baiji became silent, Yihua's pair of evil hands started moving around again. Stop messing around. Our daughter is here. Dong Huang Baiji shouted out. Baiji, are you saying that if our daughter isn't here, I can do it? Go and die. What a hypocritical woman. Although you are saying that you don't want to do it, your body has already fallen into my embrace. Yihua laughed lightly. Dong Huang Baiji said in disdain, you definitely cast a spell on me. If not, how would I be like this? Baiji, don't lie to yourself anymore, you do like me. Bullshit. Dong Huangli, who was on the bed, rubbed her eyes, then turned her head around and looked towards her father and mother, then cried out in surprise, Daddy, Mommy, have you two reconciled? Ali is too happy. Yihua let go of Dong Huang Baiji and carried his daughter into his embrace. Daddy has forgiven Mommy. That's great, Daddy is so handsome. After saying that, Dong Huang Baiji kissed Dong Huang Baiji. Soon after, Dong Huang Baiji didn't forget to kiss her mother as well. Chapter 240. Dong Huang Baiji naturally knew that. After all, as a woman who was once an empress, her way of thinking would definitely be different. Qinya, what we need to do is very simple. As long as we anger Yihua, he will let us go. Are you sure that you want to let us go and not spank our butts? Qinya didn't believe it. That fellow loves to spank and touch people's butts. Dong Huang Baiji wasn't very sure. Why are you in a hurry to go out? Qinya asked curiously. Dong Huang Baiji let out a breath. I have a very urgent matter to deal with at home. The two women became silent. Qinya's gaze could be seen revealing a firm look. Let's try, isn't it just a spanking? In any case, I am pregnant and he won't spank me, but you, I have Ali. Dong Huang Baiji was smart now, she looked for her daughter for help. The two women looked at each other and smiled. If we go out, where do you plan to go? Dong Huang Baiji asked while pouring a cup of water for Qinya. This was the first time Dong Huang Baiji poured a cup of water for someone after she became an empress. Qinya shook her head, I don't know. Let's go to my place, after all, my place is safe and suitable for nurturing the fetus. Children are more important. Qinya didn't dare to go back, and she also didn't want to go back to her home in Gaohai City. Qinya sighed, let's see if we can get out first. All right. While the two women were planning to break out of the prison in the office, Yihua successfully held the second meeting in the toilet. Yi Zizi, Wei Chang, and Lai Gu stood respectfully in front of Yihua, waiting for his honor's orders. I am currently facing the biggest crisis in history. Yihua said gravely. The three shouted out in unison, subordinates are willing to solve your honor's problems. Very good. I have decided to learn from humans and become a hero to save the beauties. Yihua seemed to have already seen Qinya and Dong Huang Baiji being so touched that they would pounce into his embrace, then act coquettishly. His beautiful life was about to begin again, and in the future, he would also be a person who would be hugging beauties on his left and right. While fantasizing, Yihua revealed an arc on the corner of his mouth. Yihua pouted her small mouth and said, but your honor, those heroes that saved the beauties that we met in the past didn't end up well, they were all killed by us. Zizi, are you saying that I can't be a hero and save the beauty? Yihua, who was a little complacent just a moment ago, immediately became serious. Yi Zizi said sweetly, Zizi is a girl. Of course, I know what the madams are thinking. Although the hero saving the beauty can make them feel better, it can't achieve the best effect. After all, the hero saving the beauty is a bit old. Hearing what Yi Zizi said, Yihua also felt that this was an old trick. The two of them are so smart, if they were to see through this old trick, it would be awkward. Suddenly thinking of something, Yihua said, then, doesn't that mean that I have to chase them away? The three subordinates nodded their heads seriously. If I don't chase them away, how am I going to act out this show? Then, later on, I will think of a way to chase them away. Lai Gu, you take care of their safety and wait for my command. Subordinate obeys. Yihua waved his hand, all of you can leave now, let me think of a way to chase them away. After walking out of the toilet, Yihua sat on the bar counter and pondered. If I don't say some ruthless words to them, what should I do if they don't leave? If I say some ruthless words to them, what should I do if they become heartbroken? When that time comes, don't even talk about being a hero saving the beauty, what should I do? Just as Yihua was pondering, Qingye and Donghuang Baizhi walked down from the bar, and their expressions were still that bad. In actuality, Qingye and Donghuang Baizhi were very nervous. After having a discussion just now, they had come up with a series of plans to break out of the prison. The first plan was to anger Yihua, and there were only two consequences, one was to let Yihua go, and the other was to get spanked. And when Yihua saw the two women walking over, if he were to flip out and chase them away, there would be too many situations that would happen. Also, what reason should he use to flip out? That is the problem. I am also a reasonable person, and I would never act recklessly. The two women winked their beautiful eyes at each other, indicating that the show had begun. The two women walked towards Yihua at the same time, and just as they were about to get close to Yihua, Donghuang Baizhi's body became unstable and fell into Yihua's embrace. Yihua! What is the meaning of this? You are hugging another woman in front of me. Qingye immediately scolded out. Her imposing manner caused Yihua to be stupefied. However, Donghuang Baizhi stood up angrily, Yihua. You actually touched my butt just now, you old hooligan. Alright, you even touched her butt, Yihua. I, Qingye, have misjudged you. Yihua was currently in a stupefied state. What are we doing? Qingye and Donghuang Baizhi were also very puzzled. I have already scolded out like this, why aren't you reacting? It would be good if you show some expression, don't be so silly, you're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.